Perhaps today is a good day to die. Prepare for rubbing speed! Surely you must know at least one theme from Aksu and Melota.
I may be a little rusty.
He could be anywhere.
We believe he's trying to tempt... What?
Dr. Julian Bashir, Lieutenant Commander Worf.
Can't forget my dots.
I do not play games.
Why did Star Trek producers panic when they found out what Michael Dorn was secretly doing during his lunch breaks? I went on an aircraft carrier in the back of an F-18. We were doing all the maneuvers and then we started flying around the San Francisco Bay at 2,500 feet. That was Michael Dorn describing just one of his death-defying adventures. But here's the secret that'll blow your mind. The man who played the most honorable warrior in Star Trek history has been living a double life that would make Maverick jealous.
Thinking about what you can't control only wastes energy and creates its own enemy.
But here's what nobody saw coming. While millions of fans knew him as the gentle giant Worf, Michael Dorn was secretly becoming one of Hollywood's most badass pilots, owning actual military fighter jets and flying with elite squadrons.
Delicious.
Before the Klingon makeup, before the record-breaking 288 Star Trek appearances, before the $8 million net worth, Michael Dorn was just a small-town Texas kid with an impossible dream. But his real passion wasn't acting. It was speed, danger, and the ultimate rush of flying supersonic jets. But what really happened when Hollywood tried to ground him? Why did he risk his entire Star Trek career for his secret obsession? And what is he doing in 2025 that's got the aviation world talking? Let's uncover the real story behind the man inside the Klingon mask.
Michael Dorn, Worf, Star Trek The Next Generation, and Deep Space Nine.
December 9th, 1952, Lelling, Texas. Michael Dorn was born in a small railroad town with a population of just 4,300 people. Born to Fentress Dorn Jr. and Allie Lee Knowles, nobody could have predicted that this Texas boy would become both a sci-fi legend and a death-defying pilot. Growing up, Michael wasn't dreaming of starships. He was fascinated by aviation, collecting years' worth of Air Classics magazines and attending every air show he could find. The Dorn family moved to Pasadena, California, where young Michael attended Pasadena City College to study radio and television production. But Hollywood wasn't calling yet. His first dream was rock stardom. Oh yeah, baby. In the late 1960s through mid-1970s, Michael pursued music, performing with several rock bands across California. He traveled to San Francisco, then back to Los Angeles, chasing the sound that would make him famous. But fame in music remains elusive. In 1976, Michael made his first film debut in a movie that would become a classic, Rocky. But you won't find his name in the credits. He played Apollo Creed's bodyguard, completely uncredited, just another face in the crowd.
It was a couple of scenes with Apollo Creed, Carl, who just passed away.
But this small role changes everything. A producer on the TV show WEB notices Michael's work and introduces him to an agent. Suddenly, doors start opening. The agent connected him with acting teacher Charles E. Conrad, and Michael studied for 6 months. In 1979, Michael landed his first regular television role as Officer Jebediah Turner on Chips.
Okay, how about that?
For 4 years, he's patrolling California highways on screen. But off camera, he's developing a passion that will define his life. During the writer's strike after the first year of Chips, Michael had 5 months off. A pilot friend made a suggestion that changed everything. "Come on, we've got to do this. You gotta go out there," his friend encouraged him. Michael took his introductory flight and was instantly hooked. "Nobody could find me during the day because I was out at the airport, flying." But here's what's crazy. When Michael was learning to fly, he had no idea that his biggest role was waiting in the wings. In 1987, Michael auditioned for a new Star Trek series called The Next Generation. But this isn't your typical audition story.
I am Worf, commanding the Enterprise, and it is you who have committed an act of treason.
Michael prepared for this by completely isolating himself from the other actors. He remained completely silent and taciturn during his interview, mimicking the personality of the character he's auditioning for, a Klingon named Worf.
I am going to kill him. With my bare hands, I will take him by the throat and rip out his esophagus.
Worf!
He was the last main actor cast, but he nailed it. And here's the kicker. The producers gave him almost no direction. Gene Roddenberry himself tells Michael, just make the character your own. To an actor, that's like Christmas. Michael decided to make Worf the complete opposite of the cheerful Star Trek cast. Gruff, serious, a professional soldier who doesn't joke around.
Today, I am a warrior. I must show you my heart.
In 1987-1994, Star Trek The Next Generation became a phenomenon, and Worf became one of the most beloved characters. Michael appears in 175 episodes, missing only 3, Code of Honor, Haven, and Shades of Grey. But success brings something unexpected, a brotherhood that defies Hollywood norms. We were doing like 15 and 16 episodes a year, and that's a lot. You start to get tired of each other. But we never did, Michael revealed years later. It was lightning in a bottle.
But it was just lightning in a bottle. There was just something. And the producers weren't aware of anything like that. They were just hiring people.
The chemistry between Patrick Stewart, Jonathan Frakes, LeVar Burton, Gates McFadden, Marina Sirtis, Brent Spinner, and Michael wasn't manufactured by producers. It was a genuine friendship. We just liked each other. We thought each other was very funny, Michael explained. Marina had that English cocky wit. Patrick had dry English humor. Jonathan was big with his humor. And Brent was totally inventive. The cast was brutal with each other about their acting.
We believe he's trying to what?
Didn't believe it, you're gonna do it like that? But it came from a place of love and professionalism. Michael recalls one time when Marina Sirtis walked into his quarters during an emotional scene. There's some heavy acting going on in here, she teased. This wasn't a cutthroat Hollywood set. This was family. But Michael's real adrenaline rush was happening away from the cameras. During the early seasons of Star Trek The Next Generation, Michael's flying hobby created tension with the studio. Insurance companies and nervous executives started asking questions. What if their Klingon warrior dies in a plane crash on set? There are reports that his contract included clauses restricting his flying activities. The studio was terrified of losing one of its most popular characters to Michael's dangerous hobby. But Michael isn't just flying Cessnas. He's working his way up to something much more extreme. While playing Worf, Michael studied his collection of military fighter jets. His first was a tiny Casa twin-engine aircraft, an introduction to jet operations. Then he graduated to a T-33 Shooting Star, one of the first jet aircraft in the U.S. inventory. It was a good experience because the T-33 is built like a tank. You can bounce it off the runway and make hard landings. Then came the F-86 Sabre that he acquired from the South African Air Force. Finally, he gets his dream machine, a North American Sabreliner. Michael isn't just collecting these jets as trophies. He's actively flying them, taking them to air shows across the country. He calls his T-33 his starship. But the real rush comes from flying with elite military squadrons. Third or fourth season of Star Trek The Next Generation. Woody Harrelson's invited to fly with the Blue Angels but can't make it. They need replacement pilots for a film shoot. Michael gets the call. They need black pilots for the shot. He and a Delta captain named Brad Lang head to LAX early in the morning. The experience is life-changing. We were doing all the maneuvers, and then we started flying around the San Francisco Bay at 2,500 feet. Later, he gets an even better opportunity, flying with the Thunderbirds. We were up in Northern California. We took off from Travis and went out towards the coast. Of his 1,600 total flight hours, Michael has almost 10 hours in F-16s and 8 hours in F-18s. He's one of the few civilians to experience what it's like to fly the world's most advanced fighter jets. In 1995, Star Trek The Next Generation ended, but Michael's story is far from over. His character, Worf, is so popular that the producers make an unprecedented decision. They move him to Star Trek Deep Space Nine to boost ratings.
You are Drex, son of Martok.
That's right.
I am Worf, son of Moog.
The cast bonds remained strong. When filming wrapped on TNG, many wondered if the friendships would survive. But as Michael noted, we just liked each other. The professional respect and genuine affection carried over to conventions, reunions, and beyond. Michael spent another 4 seasons on DS9, bringing his total Worf appearances to 277 episodes, plus 4 Star Trek movies. He holds the record for most appearances as the same character in Star Trek history. But during this time, his flying becomes even more extreme. Even actors, too, have to go through the storms of life. In 2010, Michael revealed something shocking in an interview. He's been diagnosed with early-stage prostate cancer. The diagnosis leads to a major lifestyle change. He became vegan. Yes, he did a complete about-turn in his entire lifestyle to conquer the big C. I have not missed meat at all. The only thing I would even think about missing is hamburgers and french fries. His health scare doesn't slow down his flying. If anything, it intensifies his passion for living life to the fullest. However, in 2012, Michael announced something that got Star Trek fans incredibly excited. He wanted to return as Worf in a television series tentatively titled Star Trek Captain Worf. I love Worf, and I think he's the character that hasn't been fully developed and hasn't been fully realized, he explains. The response from fans was overwhelming, but the project didn't materialize immediately. Instead, Michael continues his voice work, becoming Battle Beast in the hit animated series Invincible.
But oh, how you disappoint. Killing you is an act of mercy.
His distinctive baritone's voice makes him one of Hollywood's most sought-after voice actors. And boy, does he do a lot of voice acting. Just check for yourself and you will see a long list of films, animated shows, TV series, and the list goes on and on. Some of the films and shows that he came in or voiced are Duck Dodgers, 227.
Yeah, there are a lot of single parents who do a fine job. But the bottom line is raising children is tough.
Family Guys.
Although I will say it was an awful lot of fun. You know, when Patrick wasn't hogging the limelight.
Santa Claus 2, Castle.
Well, why don't we start with the shooting? Is any of it coming back to you?
Fantastic Four.
Victor Von Doom's been obsessed with Reed for years, always trying to prove he's smart or trying to take over the world, you know.
And Superman the Animated Series. In 2023, after more than 20 decades away from Star Trek, Michael finally returns as Worf in the 3rd season of Star Trek Picard.
I told you, do not engage.
At 70 years old, he slips back into the character like putting on a comfortable glove. The same year, he wrote his first comic book, Steelworks #1, starring Steel, a character he voiced in Superman the Animated Series. At an age when most actors are retiring, Michael is expanding his creative horizons. In 2025, at 72 years old, Michael Dorn continues to defy expectations. With a net worth of $8 million, he could easily retire. Instead, he's still actively auditioning, still flying his jets, and still attending conventions where fans line up to meet the man behind Worf. However, Mr. Dorn is a very private man. It seems there are rumors of him married to Kelly Dorn.
Despite the public's curiosity, Michael Dorn maintains a mostly secretive stance regarding family. No public records of children or details about Kelly's background reflect their shared commitment to privacy. The couple appears to appreciate a lifestyle that allows them to nurture their relationship without the pressures of public exposure. Michael owns a North American Sabreliner and serves on the advisory board of the Air Force Aviation Heritage Foundation. When asked if he'd want to go to space like William Shatner, his response is pure pilot. No, because it's dangerous, even if they're not going into orbit. For the money they want to raise, I'd much rather use that to buy an F-104. Michael continues to voice Battle Beast in Invincible, proving that his career is far from over. He's also working on an aviation series pilot that he wrote, ready to pitch to networks, combining his 2 great passions, entertainment and flying. The brotherhood from Star Trek The Next Generation remains strong. Recent reunions show Patrick Stewart, Jonathan Frakes, Gates McFadden, and Michael still sharing that same chemistry that made the show special. It was odd in a way, and I don't mean odd in a bad way, Michael reflects on their friendship.
We just liked each other. Today, Michael Dorn represents something rare in Hollywood. An actor who never forgot his passions outside of fame. While other celebrities chase headlines, he's been quietly living his dream at 30,000 feet. From a small Texas town to the bridge of the Enterprise, to the cockpit of an F-18, Michael proved that some dreams are worth the risk. That's the Michael Dorn story they never told you. The story of a man who found honor not just in playing a Klingon warrior, but in living like one, fearlessly pursuing what sets his soul on fire. Today, when Michael Dorn takes off in one of his jets, he's not just flying. He's proving that the best adventures happen when you refuse to be grounded by other people's fears. Because sometimes the greatest honor comes from living without limits.